All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is an educational channel focused on mainly theories of everything, all-encompassing theories that can round out your life and help you to put the pieces together. A lot of us have done a lot of research on various different things. And some of these different theories of everything can kind of serve as a glue, or something to hold all of those different ideas together. A big net that can fit all the different stuff that you've learned over the years, and put it all into context. I think that the reciprocal system of theory does a great job of this. And so this is the 242nd video that we've done on the reciprocal system. And this system was first invented by Dewey B. Larson back in the 20th century. And he wrote a lot of different books on mostly the sciences, physics and astronomy and chemistry, but also has books on economics and metaphysics, and many articles on all kinds of different subjects. The basic idea behind the reciprocal system is that we live in a universe of motion, not a universe of matter, not a universe of energy, but a universe of motion. Matter and energy are merely two kinds of motion. Motion in Larson's system is the relationship between space and time. That sets up a generalized reciprocal relationship between space and time. Motion is basically a fraction with space or time as the numerator and time or space as the denominator. But as Larson points out in his first postulate, time and space come in 3 or more dimensions. That's what Larson calls coordinate space and coordinate time. And then also time and space come in their clock aspects, clock space and clock time. The clock is always getting later and later and later. The flow of time, or the progression of time, is also its counterpart is that is called clock space, the flow of space, or the progression of space. Everything is always getting farther and farther and farther apart. And you would envision this by using a balloon and a magic marker, put dots on the balloon, blow up the balloon, all the dots are moving away from each other, but in no particular direction. That is what Larson calls a scalar motion, a motion that has a magnitude but has no direction, just like the flow of time. Time flows, but it doesn't really have any particular direction. It's just always getting later and later and later by a certain magnitude. Time and space also have their quantized aspect, meaning that there is a minimum unit of space and a minimum unit of time. Less than 1 unit of space and you don't have space. Less than 1 unit of time and you don't have time. That's what Larson calls the time region and the space region, respectively. If you don't have any space, then the only other thing that you have is time. It's one or the other, or both. And so if you are inside a unit of space, then you don't have space, you only have time. That's the time region, and that is a sub-region of a bigger region that Larson calls the material sector, which is when you have 1 unit of time, 1 unit of space in 1 unit of time. Space over time is speed. The bike is moving 15 miles per hour. 15 miles of space in 1 hour of time. 1 unit of space in 1 unit of time is the speed of light. And Larson calls that unit speed. Unit speed sets up a boundary between 2 different sectors of the universe, what Larson calls the material sector and the cosmic sector. In the material sector, everything is moving slower than the speed of light. This is the sector that Einstein was aware of when he made his dictum that nothing moves faster than the speed of light. Einstein obviously didn't know about the cosmic sector, where everything is moving faster than the speed of light, and that is just another one of the two sectors of the universe that Larson identifies. So you have a material sector and a cosmic sector, and then within the material sector you have the time region. Within the cosmic sector you have the space region, and we know quite a bit about the material sector through our observations and measurements as scientists, but we know very, very little about the cosmic sector. But through the reciprocal system and through the reciprocal postulate between space and time, all we have to do to extrapolate from the material sector to the cosmic sector is reverse the roles of space and time. So, for example, in the material sector, we have coordinate space, 3 or more dimensions of space, and clock time. The clock is progressing and always getting later and later and later. That's in the material sector. But in the cosmic sector, we have coordinate time, 3 dimensions of time, and that is moving through space, progressing or flowing through space. Clock, space. Space is always getting farther and farther apart. So, we can understand relationships in the cosmic sector by thinking of it that way. Okay, now we are today looking at an article that was written by Dr. Bruce Perrett, who is one of Larson's revisers, so to speak, and he revised Larson's system to the point where he came up with something that was called RS2, Reciprocal System 2. And so this is kind of like the second version of the reciprocal system. And he uses most of what Larson has come up with, but makes some significant alterations of Larson's system, but I believe still is within the spirit of what Larson was talking about. Most of the changes that the revisions that he made are, not of the applications of Larson's system as opposed to the actual theory. There's a difference in Larson's system. He has, in his postulates, he lays out the rules, and then he takes those rules and through a process of deduction, he derives a theoretical universe. And he admitted that his derivation of this theoretical universe was subject to error. And so that is where Larson made his errors, not with the theory itself, but with his application of the theory. And this is what Dr. Perrett has come in to revise. Dr. Perrett wrote this paper under the pen name of Daniel Phoenix III, and these are called the Daniel Papers. This is one of 4 papers in his Anthropology series, The Hidden History of Homo Sapiens. And this paper has to do with primarily with blue beam technology, which is the fake alien invasion that we're about to experience, and that Perrett wrote about many years ago. We're about to start a section here that is called The Boundaries of Your Mind. The boundaries discussed in the Chains Without Chains section are psychological constructs programmed into you at birth. They are not natural boundaries. Forget about them for a while. Forget your faith, your patriotism, your corporate loyalty. When you bring those walls down, you can get a look at what it is that has been blocked from your consciousness by the powers that be. Knowledge is power, and the most powerful knowledge is the secrets behind those artificial walls in your mind. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm a proponent of Dewey Larson's reciprocal system of theory, which is technically a theory of everything. And it is a simple one, using natural consequences from a ratio of space to time called motion. Though I am the first to admit that Larson does not do a good job of explaining his ideas. It is not a popular theory because it is a consequence of nature, not of mathematics. Conventional science demands a theory of everything that proves that they were right, not one that says they screwed up from the start and spent the last 300 years making a total disaster of everything. When trying to learn Larson's concepts, one spends more time unlearning what they've been taught, as they were taught everything backwards. And that's the key to dealing with the evolution of the human spirit. To throw a monkey wrench into the plans of the New World Order. Just jump their walls, and you'll find that mankind, a bizarre interplanetary slave hybrid, has more potential than any other species in this part of the galactic neighborhood. And believe me, our neighbors are well aware of that fact. Since Project Bluebeam is primarily focused on extraterrestrials and aliens, let's unlearn a few things about who's who and what's what in the neighborhood. Okay, this section is called Unlearning, Breaking Down Artificial Barriers. In the universe of motion, Larson outlines a process to construct an entire universe that only requires two things: gravity and the cosmic microwave background radiation. This process is simple. Gravity aggregates radiation into particles, particles into atoms, atoms into aggregates, aggregates into stars, stars into galaxies, and so forth. Gravity is a natural consequence of matter. So all you really need is a constant influx of matter from somewhere. Larson identifies the origin of the cosmic microwave background radiation as not a leftover from the Big Bang, which one would think would have run out of juice by now, but from the cosmic sector, the realm of 3D time known in conventional science and science fiction as the universe of antimatter. Stellar and galactic combustion processes are based on age limit fission in the reciprocal system, which are constantly pushing matter to faster than light speeds, as exhibited by radio frequency and X-ray emissions of both. Once you move faster than the speed of light, you are moving in 3D time, not 3D space. So our half of the universe is sending over its own material microwave background radiation to the cosmic sector, where it built a cosmic universe in 3D time, which is always sending us back its anti-radiation as the cosmic microwave background radiation. That's the reciprocal relation at work, and why the reciprocal system is named reciprocal. It is always a constant exchange. So, the first lesson to be learned is that the cosmic microwave background radiation is a constant influx of matter from 3D time. As such, it was not created by a Big Bang, and since nothing else is needed to create a universe, there was no Big Bang needed either. So, when ETs or channelers... Alrighty then. We're trying to take over from, I think my phone overheated, and probably because it's about 90 degrees in here. And so we're going to get back to talking about the cosmic microwave background radiation and its and gravity, which are the two things that Perret says are needed to create this universe. So the first lesson to be unlearned is that the cosmic microwave background radiation is a constant influx of matter from 3D time. As such, it was not created by a Big Bang, and since nothing else is needed to create a universe, there was no Big Bang needed either. So, when ETs or channelers tell you all about them being the best bang since the big one, they are lying. They are stooges for the New World Order, trained by those conventional scientists that believe in the Big Bang Theory, or just useful idiots. Stars, as described by Larson and referenced in my other papers, are constructed from this dust forming from the cosmic microwave background radiation. That means they start out cold, warm up, get hot, hotter, and extremely hot until they blow apart in a supernova. The existing stellar evolutionary sequence is backwards, and since that is the basis of galactic evolution, that is backwards also. And remember, all you need to create everything in this universe is just gravity and the cosmic microwave background radiation. Knowing the correct stellar evolutionary sequence allows us to learn of how stars evolve and produce planets, how planets produce life, and hopefully ethical life. A substantial part of the universe of motion is dedicated to stellar evolution. Summarizing, we find that stars grow in generations. First-generation stars are newly formed from dust and debris and have no planets. Any planetary matter in the vicinity would be sucked up into the new star, adding to the stellar mass. These stars are characterized by a single star with no companion and clean space around them. 2. Second-generation stars form after the first-generation star undergoes a supernova by getting too hot, which is Larson's thermal limit. The result is a binary star system, a red giant that is composed of the matter in 3D space, and a white dwarf where the old solar core imploded in space and is expanding in 3D time, giving it its compressed form with an inverse density gradient. Over time, these binaries move to the main sequence and repeat the supernova cycle. There is a possibility of a solar system at this time if the stellar core is spatially fragmented during the supernova. However, the white dwarf fragments would be small, cool off quickly, and most likely get sucked back into the sun while still in its giant phase. So they would be unlikely to produce planets having intelligent life. Third and greater generation stars, Third and greater generation stars are either triple star systems or single star systems with a collection of stable planets. Third generation stars, like our sun, are the generation of stars most likely to contain planets with intelligent life. They are identified as single red to orange stars with a large amount of surrounding debris, young with forming planets, or yellow to white with an asteroid belt and planets, which are middle-aged with established planets. Okay, this section, which I will just get started with here, is called ET Phone Home, long distance. We can now use a process of elimination to find where real ETs are likely to reside. A single sun without a debris field, like the stars of the Hyades, won't have any planets as they are first-generation stars. Binaries, second generation, are also out, as the stuff planets are made of is still locked up in that white dwarf companion. Triple star systems, like Alpha Centauri, are also out for the same reason. The planetary cores are still in the white dwarf component. So let's take a look at what astronomers have recently discovered and graph them in their proper direction of stellar evolution to find out where our ET neighbors are within a 45 light-year radius from Earth. See Chart 1. Examining the chart, it becomes apparent that many of the popular ET-channeled systems, stellar systems, don't seem to have any planets around them, being first or second generation stars. They were picked because the names are well known by many cultures and have been for centuries. This is like the Pleiades. Something becomes apparent. Sol, our solar system, is the most evolved solar system within this 45 light year range. We're the most advanced kids in the neighborhood. Tau Ceti, a G-class yellow star, much like our own, is a neighbor with planets. But those planets are younger than Earth, perhaps still back in the Jurassic period with dinosaurs running around. That also means a high magnetic ionization level, so the planetary environments would be radioactive. A similar problem the SMs, Saurian men, faced here on the Earth during their colonization. Okay, we will get back into this section when we resume tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.